Picture the Atlantic City boardwalk as dusk falls in the summer of 1970. Neon signs flicker to life, casting bright ribbons of light over strolling couples and laughing children. The scent of salt water floats in the air. Carousel music dances on the wind. Atlantic City, the storied jewel of the Jersey Shore, seems alive with promise and nostalgia. But beneath the surface glamour, a very different story simmers, a tale of hardship, exclusion, and struggle. For many residents, those dazzling lights are a cruel reminder that prosperity is not meant for everyone. This is a city split in two, the wealthy vacationers basking in luxury hotels, while local families, especially Black and Latino communities, face crumbling homes, unemployment, and daily prejudice. The year is 1970, and Atlantic City stands at a crossroads. Its identity as a holiday paradise is threatened by economic decline and racial tension. The stage is set for a night that would leave scars on the city's memory for generations. To truly understand the Atlantic City riots, we must consider the national mood. Across the United States, the 1960s and early 70s were marked by upheaval. The civil rights movement had sparked hope but exposed painful realities. Urban centers from Los Angeles to Detroit saw protests and riots as African Americans demanded justice. Economic recession, the Vietnam War, and generational divides fractured communities and families. Atlantic City, once buoyed by tourism and industry, felt this pressure keenly. The city's Black population, making up a significant but often marginalized portion of residents, faced job discrimination, poor schools, and housing conditions unfit for any American dream. Meanwhile, tensions between police and minority youth simmered just below boiling point. Memories from local residents paint a picture of unease. Many remember the frustration at City Hall, where pleas for new schools and job programs went ignored. Teenagers, searching for purpose, gathered in corner stores and vacant lots, swapping stories of police harassment. Even the boardwalk, once a symbol of unity, became divided. The rich stayed close to the casinos while the poor faded into backstreets. In the weeks leading up to the riots, rumors spread about unfair arrests and aggressive policing. Some say they knew something big was coming. The city's leaders, caught between declining revenues and growing unrest, offered only empty promises. It was a single night in August when the simmering tension exploded. Accounts differ on the exact spark. Some cite an altercation between police and local youths. Others say years of frustration needed no specific trigger. But all remember how quickly anger turned to action. Crowds gathered in the heart of the Black neighborhoods, chanting for dignity and change. Word spread through the grapevine, drawing hundreds into the streets. Shouts echoed between buildings. Rocks and bottles flew as anger erupted into violence. The police, outnumbered, called for backup. Fires ignited, smoke rose above the casino hotels. For many, it was the first time their fury was visible to those in power. For others, it was a last resort, a desperate cry for help after years of being ignored. Imagine yourself on those streets. Cameras rolling, you see terrified shopkeepers barricading their windows. Teenagers leap over overturned trash cans, their faces determined, some angry, some scared. One woman recalls, "I saw my son go out the door that night. I told him, 'Be careful, don't get in trouble.' But I understood why he had to go." They were tired of the way things were. Over the course of hours, the riot spread. Police sirens pierced the night. The National Guard arrives, bringing armored vehicles and tear gas. Propaganda leaflets dropped from helicopters, urging people to return home. Yet for many rioters, there was no home that felt truly safe. The violence, though shocking, was a symptom, not the disease itself. What made Atlantic City so fragile? Decades of job loss, especially after industry left the region, meant entire families scraped by on odd jobs or welfare. Schools remained segregated in practice, if not by law. Funding shortages led to overcrowded classes and crumbling facilities. Housing discrimination corralled minorities into neglected neighborhoods where trash pickup was rare and repairs went undone. Police relations had deteriorated as years of stop and frisk, unfair arrests, and heavy-handed tactics alienated youth. Historians now argue that the riots were never simply about one night. They were about the broken promises of post-war America and the persistent racism that shadowed Atlantic City's sunny image. By dawn, the boardwalk was eerily quiet. Shop owners surveyed broken glass and burned-out storefronts. Streets were littered with debris, and neighbors mourned those arrested or injured. Atlantic City's government was forced into a reckoning. A task force was assembled, including community leaders and pastors. Emergency aid was offered to help families affected by property damage. Quickly, debates raced through City Hall about how to restore order, but few talked about restoring equity or justice. The media, drawn by images of disorder, descended on Atlantic City, amplifying both the horrors and the hope. National headlines spoke of urban unrest, but local papers tried to unpack the stories behind the shattered windows. Let's listen to just a few voices from that night. Raymond Carter, a 19-year-old high school graduate, said, "We didn't want to fight. We wanted someone to see us, to know our lives mattered. But for years, nobody listened, so we made them listen." Maria Alvarez, a shopkeeper whose store was ransacked, recalled, "I lost so much that night, but I couldn't stay angry. Those kids weren't criminals. They were angry that nobody cared about us. I hope the city can change for them." Their words remind us that behind each act of violence was a longing for fairness, inclusion, and a future with hope. Following the riots, Atlantic City made promises. Task forces on urban renewal were established. Police reforms were proposed, including community policing and sensitivity training. Investment flowed into local schools and housing projects. Yet for many, change came slowly. Political debates raged about who was responsible for the riots, how money should be spent, and whether the old guard would truly step aside. Some leaders tried genuine change, while others insisted the riots were just lawlessness, not a cry for help. Community groups pushed for accountability. Block associations formed to advocate for safer streets. Youth organizations demanded job programs and education reform. Churches led marches for dignity and healing. A new recreation center opened in the heart of the city. Local police hired more officers from within the community. Scholarships were offered for minority students. But the scars of 1970 remained visible, a painful memory and a stark warning. 55 years later, Atlantic City still bears the marks of its history. The city is famous for its casinos, boardwalk, and as a playground for tourists. But many residents continue the struggle for fairness and opportunity. The riots of 1970 are no longer just a footnote. They're a turning point that forced leaders to listen to ordinary people's voices. For viewers today, there is a powerful lesson. Great cities are built on shared dreams and mutual respect. When injustice goes unchecked, those dreams turn dark. It's only by facing uncomfortable truths that we build safer, stronger communities for all. If this story opened your eyes to a hidden side of Atlantic City, comment below what surprised you most. Have you seen similar stories in your own community? Subscribe for more deep dives into history and mysteries, and join the conversation as we explore stories that shape our world. Remember, every voice matters. Every city has a secret history waiting to be told.